Alright, hello all. Welcome back to the Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video here. So, I mean, this is happening a lot with this sort of big celebration. I suppose it will with these bigger celebrations. However, we did have the EZAs, obviously, they're live now, for Blue Vegeta and Trunks, Dokkan Fest LR EZA. As well as the Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta Dokkan Fest UR EZA. And all of their details, they both look really good. I have not used them, awakened them, anything yet. However, we've also recently had several Super EZAs, but more specifically for this video, STR Omega Shenron. And you may be wondering, why is that important? Now, I suppose I probably should have. This is actually because I pulled this up earlier on. I suppose I should have probably pulled up the global version. It doesn't matter too much, I suppose. However, all three of those characters from the Popo event, it did get its update, and they all have special equips. So they all have pretty much the same sort of equips here. And these equips, essentially, right, are I would say are pretty decent, right? So we do have 1200, right, and then once again 1200, and then finally another 1200, right? So for these guys, they're all getting an extra 1200 raw defensive stat from equips, which, I mean, comparatively to, say, like the Goku and Vegeta from the second anniversary with their sort of anniversary equips, right? They get 2,000 some odd, right? I mean, it's not as big of a deal, but it certainly is a pretty major increase, I would say. So, with that being said, I did actually figure it was worth doing more calcs for them with their sort of special equips, just to show like how big of an increase they get, right? So, and I do think very, very good is what I would say. So I did actually already do the calcs. I would like to try and make these type, like, just okay, here's the updated calcs with the the special equips. I would like to try and make these shorter. I have made them shorter than the like full breakdown def calc videos previously, but even those I feel like I've gone on a bit long. So I mean I feel like I've said what I want to say about these guys. So I'm just gonna go into the calcs. We'll show them. Just getting a little intro out of the way here, right? And I do think they're all very, very good. Now, for Vegeta and Trunks here, I do actually have next to their old calcs, because, obviously I do this on a Google Doc, right? And I do actually, until the next characters to calc come out, I do keep this here just in case, and I do have their calcs next to their no defensive equip calcs. However, for Super EZA Omega, right, I do actually, his are just only the equip calcs. So do keep that in mind once we get down there. But yeah, I just, real quick here. So, obviously, I mean, we're getting a decent bit higher, I would say. I mean, obviously, it varies quite a bit, but essentially, by the third super, a good 300 some odd thousand difference, right? 300 and... Well, this one's like 314,000. This one is more closer, actually, to 340 something? 344? Something like that. So, I mean, just from the 1200, right? I'd say that's a pretty big deal. And then we scroll down more, right? We do actually have, once we start talking about the stack as well, obviously we start to jump up quite a bit. And this is, I do think, very, very good, right? I mean, we're talking 300 some odd thousand difference, For me, at least, I would say that, I mean, that's pretty insane. You know, especially with how big these supers can get and the current content, you know, how much damage they can do. I mean, I know they Vegeta, Trunks have guard and 50% damage reduction. Well, for the first 3 or is it 5 turns actually? I forget. Once again, I haven't used them just yet. I do know they have the limited extra damage reduction, so they can be up to 60%. So they're actually very, very good, obviously. And then we go down here some more, right? And then just by the end here, I mean, we're talking a 400 some odd thousand difference. So I would say their defensive equips are pretty good. And this is just with, you know, the bronze and the silver. They didn't give us like gold defense. They usually do. They did not this time around. I was actually pretty surprised, I will say. However, if there's the like ESBR equips, you could very easily, right, just throw on any of those, is what I would say. If you want, I suppose, a gold defensive equip, I mean, it's dodge and 600 defense. So technically, they could even actually look even higher. By the way, the point I suppose I'm trying to get across. So obviously, very, very good, right? Then we go down to Gogeta here. Now, there's actually, I will say, I probably honestly should put like an asterisk here, but I'm not. So for Gogeta, right? He's actually a very different sort of scenario. Well, not very different, I suppose, but okay. So obviously his equips buff him up quite a bit, right? But what I'm sort of referring to is actually the silver equip. I mean, and if we just go back over here. Now, I'm actually, I will say, a little confused, if I'm being honest. I think they only all got the dodge. Oh, no, I see. Oh, okay, that makes a lot more sense. Because I was scrolling in game, I'm like, why does it show all of these? Okay, that makes... So, the dodge is level 4, and then the additional and the crit are level 2 across the board here. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so if you want to go for dodge, I suppose technically it's the same sort of thing, actually. That's interesting that they did that way. Because every point of dodge is only worth 1%, whereas every point of additional or crit is worth 2% apiece, right? So I suppose technically it's the same sort of buff, actually. But I did not realize that at first. Okay, but anyway, what I was starting to get at there, for Gogeta specifically, well, I suppose this actually applies to Omega too, honestly. There is the Shadow Dragon Saga story event that you can do, and you can get up to a 600. I think it's a level 3 defense, and it gives you 600 raw defense. So he actually already has, both of them already have equips available to them that technically go higher than, at least, I mean, not the bronze, obviously, but for the silver, if you don't care about the dodge, additional crit, whatever, you actually do have the option of, taking, you could take advantage of that 600 if you want the extra 200 raw defense, right? I mean, you could even, once again, there's the ESBR, dodge, 600 defense you can throw on these guys. I think would be very good. And then we keep going through here. I mean, Gogeta especially, and I suppose this is the big thing. So obviously, whereas, I mean, it's the same sort of deal with like phase 1 stats or whatever, right? The less you have, the more you get from a buff of any kind, right? So with Gogeta having less raw defense than a Dokkan Fest LR, obviously, he actually does get quite a bit of value. I mean, you can see here, we're talking a 500,000 difference. 500,000. Like, that's actually, I would say that's very insane, right? And then we go to the active skill turn, and here we're talking 600,000. So, and this is with the 1200. Even though technically he can't have more, I wanted to go with what's like immediately available through the Popo event. No other BS essentially. So, I would say looking very good. And then finally we get down here to Super EZA Omega Shenron, and he's actually a little different, weird, whatever. I don't know. I still think it's, yeah, a lot of the GT boss characters, like well, I guess he's a super easy. They don't really adjust the SA effects, right? But because he doesn't actually have any defense on his super attack effect, he literally only gets the defensive increase for just doing the one attack, right? So he does actually jump up quite a bit. I suppose I could, I don't have it pulled up. The video wasn't that long ago, but I suppose I could actually pull up here, probably. Just give me just a moment. I could probably find him. Give me just a moment, and then I could pull this up. No, I was gonna say I already updated this, didn't I? Yeah, I already updated this image. So I actually that's my bad. Never mind. False alarm. What I did there, I actually do have obviously I'm on my computer. I do have a file, or I suppose rather a folder full of I take screenshots of all the calcs I do. Just so I can access them at pretty much any time. I don't have to like redo them. I figure it was probably a good idea when I started, and I'm glad I did it, because it definitely it's very easy for me to access. Anyway, point being, I thought I still had it, but I suppose I don't. He definitely gets a pretty decent increase too. You'll if you haven't seen that video, you could click through it real quick, scroll through if you want to see what he gets up to. But obviously he gets a pretty big increase from them as well. So I'm happy with all these guys. Dokkan's been cooking with all the kits. The fact that we're only in part 2, we still have part 3 to go. It's so wild to me, because that means we have more EZAs, super EZAs, maybe. Who knows exactly? Yeah, more new units. Like it's just this celebration. Honestly, it really does feel like the best celebration of all time to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm 10th anniversary was really, really insane. I'm not someone who dislikes that at all. I thought it was the best celebration before this one, but like it's just, I feel like it's like overall quality versus quantity. Like certainly, a 10th anniversary had more, but I feel like GDC has done a lot more with less. So there we go though. Hopefully, still finished a little shorter than usual, but honestly would have even maybe a little shorter than this. But I'm just gonna end this here. I just did want to, and I'll scroll up real quick. I did just want to show the updated calcs with the new sort of equips, in case anyone wanted to know. But that's all. I'm gonna end this here. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Take care.